Hey everybody, from the south to the north, the east and the west, and all the way around the world. I am RJ Smith, and this thing of ours is called Crazy News Reacts, where we find the craziest news videos and bring them to you with our own common sense and logic. Today, we're talking about a brand new virus, and what a surprise, right? It comes from Africa. It's called the monkeypox, folks, and you might have seen it on the news and you might not have. First discovered in 1958, when 2 outbreaks of pox-like virus occurred in research monkeys. Now, the first human case of mpox wasn't recorded until 1970. So the question is, were they eating monkey brains like some idiots around the world do?
U.S. declaring a public health emergency over the monkeypox outbreak across the country. The Biden administration under growing pressure to stop infections from spreading. The numbers rising late today. More than 7,100 Americans have now been infected in at least 48 states. Montana and Wyoming, the only states without reported cases. The federal government's declaration frees up money to increase testing, treatment, and boost the nation's vaccine supply. New York City and San Francisco, 2 of the hardest hit cities in the country, saying they don't have enough vaccine to meet demand. The White House says there are more than 1.1 million doses available.
In 2022, just 2 years ago, folks, monkeypox spread around the world. As a best-selling author, as you can see my bestsellers behind me, I know that conspiracy can sometimes be real. The World Health Organization, WHO, renamed this virus in 2022, and they say it was just to follow modern naming processes. That smells like a bunch of monkey shit to me. The truth of the matter is, when thinking about monkeys, many recall the acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or AIDS. That also came from monkeys. So I think they're trying to distance themselves from the monkeys, so that people don't freak out and think, there's going to be a major epidemic with millions of deaths. And of course, they don't want it to interfere with trade, travel, stuff like that. Once again, money is more important to these people than truth and health. Let's continue.
Some critics blaming the administration for not moving fast enough to contain the outbreak. ABC's Janae Norman leads us off here in New York.
After weeks of rising infections and growing calls to do more, tonight federal health officials are declaring the monkeypox virus a public health emergency.
We do expect that cases will continue to rise as we've had more access to testing. People have had more access to testing before they go down again.
The CDC now reporting more than 7,100 cases across 48 states, up from just 200 a little over a month ago.
Everyone's like, how do we get an appointment? So I was able to snag this right when it came.
New York City, the epicenter of the virus, tonight opening 23,000 vaccine appointments. But those are only for the first of 2 shots needed for full protection. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand calling on the Biden administration to invoke the Defense Production Act.
With cases doubling roughly every week, it's paramount that the government prepare a healthcare system to meet vaccine and testing demands so that Americans can remain safe.
Nearly all the cases have been among men who have sex with men, but doctors stress anyone can get the virus. 5 children have already been infected. The virus is primarily spread through close skin-to-skin contact, but can also be transmitted through prolonged face-to-face contact through respiratory droplets or touching clothing or bedding contaminated with the infected sore. Monkeypox is rarely fatal, and symptoms usually go away on their own.
Oh, really? Another virus that attacks gay men? It seems like they're pulling the same BS that they pulled with Ronald Reagan, slow-walking a response to a virus and blaming it on one segment of the community. Give me a freaking break. As we all know, AIDS is not a gay disease like they shoved down our throat back in the 80s. Everybody gets it. And that's the case also here with monkeypox. But the question remains, why did WHO wait until December 2022 before they sent out their first health advisory? More than 1,200 people have died in the Congo from this. And the fatality rate? 5%. This reminds me of the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman.
Your town is being quarantined.
We
got 19 dead. You got 100 more infected. It's spreading like a brush fire.
What are you talking about?
If one of them's got it, then 10 of them have got it now. And if one of them gets out of Cedar Creek, we have a very interesting problem.
And just recently, on June 30th, the WHO stated that more than 99,000 cases of monkeypox had been reported across 116 countries. Why isn't this plastered on every news channel in America, in Britain, in the developing world? And the CDC is having their say. In January 2024, they stated more than 500 deaths and 17,000 infections, and that monkeypox is naturally occurring.
I've seen some patients recover from their illness within 2 weeks, but others, unfortunately, they don't recover until maybe 3, 4, or even 5 weeks later.
Brian McKenna says his symptoms started with what looked like a pimple on his lip.
I then had them on my face and all along my neck.
McKenna says he had to fight for access to the antiviral drug T-Pox by sending photos of his face to his doctors.
The pictures told the story, and when they did get back to me, they said yes.
Tonight, experts say right now the risk of monkeypox for Americans is low, but some worry that college campuses could be at risk.
This is not a classic sexually transmitted infection, but it can be transmitted efficiently through sexual contact. So what that means is that in any dense sexual network, we could see transmission of this virus.
Janae Norman joining us now. And Janae, health officials tell us there are more than 1 million vaccine doses going out to states, but right now that's not enough to cover everyone who's eligible. And you're learning the FDA is now looking into stretching out those doses?
Well, the CDC estimates about 1.6 million people are eligible to get the vaccine. Each person needs 2 doses, so those 1.1 million doses available right now just aren't enough. So the FDA says it's looking into whether it can stretch the vaccine supply by pulling 5 doses out of a single vaccine vial without sacrificing safety and efficacy. That would make a big difference.
They just put it out there like, oh, and by the way, there's a new virus. What should you and I look for to keep our family safe? The first symptom really is a rash that is prevalent on the face. Looks like small bumps and then spreads all over the skin. Those bumps become blisters filled with a white clear liquid that eventually burst and scab over. There's fevers with this, headaches, muscle aches, back pain, low energy, and of course, swollen lymph nodes. But if it's a more serious case, you might get lesions on the skin. And as is always the case, people who are already immunosuppressed, people like HIV, like autoimmune disease, things like that, are at a greater risk for infection. So be careful, folks. Listen to the news carefully and make your own decision. As for me, I'm not taking the vaccine because when I took COVID, I almost died on that 3rd booster. Not doing it again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys right back here when? Next time.